Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. In this video, I wanted to talk about specifically change, how it's difficult to change, and self-help, I guess, motivational videos and all this sort of self-development, self-actualization oriented stuff that people can go out and they can buy or even consume can help them insofar as the actual person makes decisions differently, only if they choose to change the way that they might be thinking and subsequently living their lives, right? So, so as someone who is so interested in understanding, how to be a good helper, as someone who wants to be in the helping professions, I think it's been very I think it's extremely important for me to understand, and of course I want you to understand this too. Um, the primary truth behind change, and that truth is that it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't just happen with the snap of the finger, right? Your thoughts and feelings don't just all of a sudden become positive if you've spent years and years of negativity, um, immersed in negativity or with people who are negative. You don't just all of a sudden start taking care of your body if you've been eating crap your whole life, and if you've been sedentary your whole life, and if you've been out of touch with maybe your stomach and your gut sensations, if you've never been able to feel into your body. You don't just all of a sudden reestablish this connection. It takes time. Everything that is good in life takes time. And change is always going to be difficult. But I want to offer you a beautiful, profound insight, and I'm sure you know this, and that is that perspective, changing our perspective on change, on happiness, can bring us happiness. Changing our thoughts about change can bring us happiness. If we understand intimately that we can't just get what we want with the snap of our finger, and that we can be content with what we have now, or if we just pay attention to maybe one day at a time, right? Being focused on the day only, or maybe even just one task at hand, and pouring our hearts and our souls into the task at hand. That is how you become better. That's how you change. That's how you change. And it's all about baby steps. It's these little eensy teensy weensy little steps into a different way of being that becomes a default. And it's that default way of being that arises to profoundly intimate relationships, memories that you don't ever want to let go, experiences that keep giving back to you, even in the future, because you remember them, you reflect on them, you reminisce on them with such a positive emotional association, right? And all of these things, they take time, right? I am currently in school. I want to become a psychiatric nurse practitioner, but in essence, I want to be a psychotherapist. I want to do talk therapy more than anything. And that is the helping profession. What am I going to be doing, really? But helping other people to find within them the motivation to make these little teensy weensy tweaks in their life, their lifestyle, and the way they think. These little tiny things. And I promise, and I'm sure you've seen it within your relationships, when people begin to change the way they do things, even slightly towards a goal. Maybe they're addicted to something. Maybe they smoke cigarettes and they start to cut back slightly. Or maybe they're really overweight and they're cutting the calories, and they're doing it slowly, but they're doing it, and they're consistently doing it. You see that sense of control, that sense of putting the reins on their emotional life and directing their emotional life and creating their life that gives them all this emotional wealth and self-worth. And all of a sudden, you feel like they get it. They start to feel like they can love you better and you can love them better. And there's a natural sort of wealth of opportunity and happiness that is naturally within this volition, this choice, this sense of creating our lives with one another, creating with one another, which adds community and the community value, forever propagates this stuff because when we live together, we have this sense of sharing our lives, belonging, safety, security. That safety, that security, that sense of belonging makes us feel like, you know what, we can work towards our goals, we can change, but I am still worthy. I am still worthy of this community, this relationship, and I know it intimately through experience. I went on a bit of a rant there, but the truth of this video is change. We need to change. We need to be better, but we can't be black and white with ourselves. We can't be rigid. We need to focus on the day and maybe one thing that we want to change about ourselves at a time, and then have the willingness and self-compassion to understand that if we want to become a better listener, we just need to practice listening to one person. Doesn't mean we have to be perfect. We don't need to listen to everyone. We don't need to become a saint overnight. No one becomes a saint overnight like that. So this idea of taking baby steps and then having the self-awareness to understand that we are capable of changing our lives for the better. So tell me what you think. Please subscribe and like my video. And I hope you have a really wonderful day.